for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first on the agenda this morning will be the consent agenda.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right. Next, we have County Engineer Brian Edwards. This open bids for 2020 or newer one-ton chassis, four-wheel drive pickup truck. Brian. Yeah, Steve, you can just get a chair over there and sit wherever you can.
I know. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, I think this is the last item on our equipment list for this year. We did have several items because we didn't buy any equipment last year. So we did have several things we were trying to get caught up on this year. Last thing that we've got is a one-ton four-wheel drive pickup diesel that we use for our sign truck. This will be with the trade. We bids were due yesterday. We received one bid, I believe, and it's from Jenny Midhold Chevrolet.
Right, I got one quick question. Sure. We talked about it, but have you made a decision on your track over there?
We have not. It's running okay now, so we're
okay.
It's gonna.
Well, my only fear is, I mean, we're buying all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's no question about it, but if the damn track goes down.
Well, we have two other pickups that we're not buying, that we're kind of banking. Okay. And I think we want to wait and see how we do on the end dumps that we're selling. So we're going to sell them the market, and then come after towards the end of this budget year, we'll just see how it all kind of shakes out. See if our track goes.
I just don't want to really need one and not be able to.
No, I know. I understand.
What?
Well, on the Traco, I understood that we were doing on one of our oil samples showed up some iron or metal in the sample.
Yeah,
that doesn't go away. What's are we taking more samples? I mean, how does that?
They took more samples. I think they still are seeing that they fixed some things. I took them back to Honda and fixed some things. But when we got it back, it was still having problems. But then last time I talked to Ron, it kind of worked its way because it wasn't running good. But I guess it's okay now.
Well, there's two different issues between the oil sample and the
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Excuse me, we got a public hearing.
I'm sorry.
We got to go.
So on the bid from Denny Midhold, bid for one ton four-wheel drive chassis only pickup. This is because we'll move the sign equipment bed and all that over from the other truck. $40,859.00. They offered for the trade for our existing truck, $10,000. And lots of information submitted with it. The warranty detail, 3 years, 36,000 miles, bumper to bumper, 5 years, 100,000 miles, powertrain warranty. And we go back and take a look at it, make sure we've got it.
I'm just curious real quick, is there any reason you think we didn't get any bids from everybody else?
I know that there's a high demand on the trucks right now. That short supply. Yeah, high demand, short supply.
Mr. Chairman, because of COVID and everything, the factories and so on and so forth, I went ahead and submitted a bid. We've got about 15 days, January, and when we get into January, about the middle of January, they're going to cut fleet completely off because they're completely built out. This is probably going to be about 4 months until the truck's delivered. It's just that there's so many orders, they just got to cut it off. Then we'll start talking 2022, and then we'll have probably a 2-3 month lap before we get into that. So I had the opportunity in the window. That's why my competitors may be a little bit tighter on that.
Okay, interesting.
That's what
okay. I did. All right, we'll see you later.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Real quick, will Bert, you be back?
If you would like, I sure will.
I have a question. I know we're up against time.
Yeah. What time you'd like?
Well, you might be able to answer, but yeah, if you have time.
Yeah.
If not, I'll reach out on separate.
10:45? That was good.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a public hearing, Mr. Kramer minor subdivision sketch plan review. Tim?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the applicant is Mr. Kramer. The zoning for this proposed subdivision is GRP, the planning area is PAL. We did receive an application from Mr. Kramer, including payment and sketch plan and notice, copy of notice of intent to subdivide in September. The request for this subdivision is to be a 5-lot subdivision. One lot will be 21.67 acres. One lot will be 17.3 acres, and there'll be 3 lots that are 10 acres each. Of course, it's classified as a minor subdivision because it is, they are proposing 5 lots. The location of this you see, or you saw in figure 2, it's along State Highway 295 and County Lane 6, and it's about 1.5 miles just north of Powell. And you had a chance to see the sketch plan, Mr. Chairman. It is in the GRP zoning district, and these lots proposed are consistent with that zoning district. In terms of neighboring land uses, it's there's some residential and there's some agricultural surrounding it. In terms of site characteristics, this property is primarily flat. It's currently vacant ag land. It's not within a mile of Powell, so municipal review is not required. In terms of notices, there was a notice of intent to subdivide. That was in the Powell Tribune in September. We did notice this public hearing. That was also in the Powell Tribune. That occurred on November 24th and December 8th. And we sent the notice to neighbors on November 23rd of this year. And the staff report was sent to the applicant, the applicant's representative, and all of you prior to today's hearing. This is obviously a subdivision, so we have a list of agencies that we have to notify. We did that. We notified other agencies that we thought might have a relevant interest. TCT responded. You had a chance to see their response. They basically have service in that area, can provide service. Since it is a subdivision, the conservation district, we need a soils report from them. They did respond. 5 soil types were identified. The school district responded. They can provide bus service. Garland Light and Power, they responded. This is in their service territory. They have the capacity to provide service to these lots. Shoshone Irrigation responded. Obviously, they were notified. They did receive an irrigation plan, and they're working with the applicant on that. We've not received a final plan or a final plan yet. NBU responded. They also have the capacity to serve all 5 lots. And they also mentioned in that where their main is located. And Mr. Chairman, I will mention both electricity and natural gas is adjacent to all of these lots, which is a requirement of a minor subdivision. YDOT responded. You had a chance to see their letter. They commented on the 2 accesses that, or the 2 driveways that currently exist off the highway. The southern access, the applicant wants to use that to serve both lot 1 and lot 2. YDOT said that would be allowed, but they would need to submit an application for that to change it from a field access to a residential access. YDOT said the north access has to remain a field access. Weed and Pest responded. They found the presence of noxious weeds. They require a weed management plan. Fire District responded. Game and Fish responded. Northwest Rural Water responded. Hydraulic analysis has been completed. They do have the capacity to serve the subdivision. Also, Northwest Rural Water does have, I believe, a line going up the highway and a line going across on Lane 6. Treasurer said taxes are currently paid. Public Works responded. A number of things. I'll try to be brief, Mr. Chairman. I know we're running out of time. Kangle Lane has been approved. That name has been approved because the applicant would like to have a lane on, as you saw, on the east side of this subdivision that will access, I believe it's, that lane will be able to access lot 5 and lots 1 and 2, although again, lots 1 and 2 can also be served off the highway. Public Works mentioned that Lot 3, and I didn't put in here, but also Lot 4 will have an access off Lane 6. And I will mention, unless I missed it, we've not received a favorable access review from Public Works. From Public Works. That's something we'd like to have maybe by final plat if this is approved. Basically, can driveways serve Lot 3 and Lot 4. Public Works, as you know, did mention that lane to the east, that it will be a local access road. It has standards, has to be a 6-foot right-of-way and 24-foot gravel surface and 2-foot shoulders. So they did mention the subdivision improvements agreement. That's something that I believe we're going to require primarily because of the road. And also Public Works said a runoff and erosion control plan is not necessary. Mr. Chairman, we did receive one public comment from a neighbor talking about raptors possibly nesting in cottonwood trees that are, I don't believe they're even in the subdivision, but just on the south side. We contacted Game and Fish about that. They also contacted U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They sent a person, Game and Fish sent a person out, did not see any nests, did not see any raptors. So at this point, they're satisfied, as far as I can tell. A title report has been submitted. Garbage disposal service is available. We know of no known hazards on the property. We did receive a sketch plan. You all had a chance to see that. We did receive perk test data. Perk test came back from 40 minutes to inch to 80 minutes per inch. 80 is very slow. And if that were to be on a application, it would require a non-conventional and engineered septic system. Depth to groundwater cuts were made on 3 of the lots. Moist soil conditions were found at a little over 8 feet. And so if that were to be, again, on an application, I think adequate separation distance from the bottom of the drain field could be found. Ag impacts, the applicant did mention all the possible impacts to ag. The applicant doesn't think they'll be significant, neither do we. And if I remember correctly, this is in an ag overlay district, which of course gives you, the commissioners, a chance to recommend changes to the subdivision if you think ag will impact it or if it might impact ag. And the proposed lots conform to all the lot design and improvement standards. And Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Question, Dr.
When I have this, do our subdivision regulations spell out any type of regs on wildlife on the property or the riparian or any of that?
No, nothing specific. Only if it's in one of those special, I forget the name, a special, I forget the name. But in this case, it doesn't. A planning area where wildlife, big game impacts might be encountered.
Quarters.
But no, to answer your question, no, none that I know of.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I've never noticed this before. Maybe it's been in others, but on number 3 of condition, what is it says a final plat shall contain the notice of the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act of 1991. What is that?
That is so that that notice basically says that ranching activities and ag activities, and I'm paraphrasing, will not be impacted, should not be impacted. And our regs say, I don't know if it's a state statute or not, but our regs say that should go on every plat. We don't always put it in a condition, but it is a.
So this is somewhat new. It's not as we know.
Yeah, we don't always put it in as a condition, but it is a final plat condition.
I don't have a problem with it. I just have never seen it before.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Public comment?
Mr. Chairman, Cody Schatz with Engineering Associates, here for the applicant. Be willing to answer any questions you guys have.
Okay, any questions? No, okay. Chair would entertain all the public hearing. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor of approval, signify by aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There. I know, I'm ahead of schedule now.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
2020-82.
Thank you, Cody. You're welcome. Chris, come on, Chris.
Come on in. Morning.
Yeah, you're up next. Or we're up next. Is there more room down here or just more outlets?
More room,
More room.
so we can try and keep the 6 foot. You can take that off if you want. You're comfortable with it.
I think it was as big down here for some reason.
Our credenza is set up for, we have to sit.
I see.
I have to sit way too close to Dawson.
Hey, you're healthy so far.
Well, I tell you, I believe we're close enough.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda, is Kim Dillon, Park County Planning and Zoning Public Hearing, Woodsmith variance request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the applicant is Chris Taylor. The property is located in the Sage Creek planning area. The zoning district is residential 1/2 acre. The requested action is approval of this variance to our development standards, which prohibits major industrial use in a residential 1/2 acre zoning district. We did receive the variance application in October of this year. And along with that, we did receive a signature of Mr. Dominic, who represents Beacon Hill Land Company, who is the current owner. And on this first page of the staff report, just for your review, we have a purpose spelled out for a variance, applicability of the variance, and the procedure for a variance. Of course, it does require a public hearing notice, and that occurred. This property, the legal description is the actual work will occur on approximately 5 acres, and that's located in a 322 acre parcel. Ownership is Beacon Hill Land Company, and as I mentioned, we did get a signature approving of this variance. The location of this property, and you can see that in figure 1, it's just under 1.5 mile east of the Yellowstone Regional Airport. It's about a 1/4 mile east from County Road 3CX, and it's about 0.2 of a mile south of County Road 2 DAW. And this site is approximately 1,300 feet east of the Cody city limits. As I mentioned, this zoning district is residential 1/2 acre. And we, for this variance, what Mr. Taylor would like to do, we classify that as major industrial use, and that's not allowed in that zoning district. Just a brief history. This SUP and a similar variance has come before you. That occurred in 2018. I know some of you were here then, you'll remember that. That variance request was approved by the commissioners, and that SUP was approved. The reason why we're here today is 2 years ago, the applicant was unable to secure legal access, and so he wasn't able to begin his SUP facility in time. And so that SUP did expire, and so that explains why we're back. In terms of neighboring land use, the neighboring lands are a mixture of residential, industrial, and vacant. The Carroll Bighorn LLC, they do have an oil and gas refinery And you can see that location, well, really in all these maps, when you look at this 322 acre parcel, Vaquero is that facility just on the northwest. There also has, Nicholson has some construction equipment stored on their property, which is about 400 feet west of where it's going to be a log processing site if all this gets approved, about 400 feet west from this log processing site. There's a residence, the Schultz property. It's about 1,800 feet from where this log processing site is proposed to be. However, that property cannot be seen from the site because of the hills. Also, there's Prairie View subdivision, which is directly south of this property, about 1,700 feet. Again, that property cannot be seen because of hills. Site characteristics, this proposed use will be located in undeveloped site. It's essentially hilly. There are several oil and gas wells on the property. In terms of legal notices, those were all met. The notice for today's hearing was in the Cody Enterprise in November and December. Certified notice was mailed to all the property owners, and we sent the staff report to all of you and to Mr. Taylor prior to today's meeting. This, it is a public hearing. This variance request does require agency referrals, so we notified a number of agencies. You saw that list. Park County Public Works, we have them listed first. I'll try to be brief, Mr. Chairman. We relied on several emails and letters that they provided us 2 years ago that essentially, or a lot of it relates to erosion control and site drainage. Essentially, what ultimately happened was Public Works, again, this was 2 years ago, Public Works discussed specifics with a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Mr. Taylor has completed that information, and Public Works found that what he completed was sufficient. And then we did receive a letter this year, November 18th, from Public Works, said they have no further concerns because basically all their review conditions from 2 years ago have been met. Weed and pest, again, they did a weed plan 2 years ago. Nothing has changed. Mary did an addendum. Fire protection is able to be supplied by Fire District Number 2. Rocky Mountain Power said that this use is in their service territory. They can provide capacity. And that is, if we get this far, this log processing site, all they require is electricity. Treasurer said that property taxes are paid. Wyoming Game and Fish responded, they have no comments or concerns. City of Cody was notified. They commented, they have no concerns with the proposed use. They did ask the county to look at the appropriateness of this land being in the RH zoning district. We did reach out to Yellowstone Regional Airport. They really didn't have any problems either. They said this project will be outside the runway protection zone, and they commented that this development, they feel does not really need to be noticed to YRA. Conservation District, they did respond. Cody Canal Irrigation District, this property is in their irrigation district. However, there's no water rights on this property. We received no public comments. Planning and Zoning did look at this variance request on November 17th of this year, along with the special use permit. They recommended approval of both, Mr. Chairman. Starting on page 8 of the staff report, we have comments from Mr. Taylor, and he indicated, or he responded to the 4 variance conditions that have to be met for a variance to be approved. I won't read those. I know you had a chance to read those things. We do, Mr. Chairman, we do recommend approval if all of you think that that's appropriate. We provided findings, and then we do have recommended conditions. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of staff?
Mr. Chairman, access from the north?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you. Let me get to that. I know it's in here. We do have of course, we do from the property owner, we do have their approval. We did receive a access agreement. I don't know if I'm using the exact language correctly, but we did receive access approval from Vaquero Bighorn LLC because they're the properties just north. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I missed that. We do have that approval.
Any other questions, staff? Public comment, any public comment?
Move to close public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second,
Second.
discussion, all those in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, motion carries. What's the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the variance as requested.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor, signify by
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Okay,
Thank you, commissioners.
we got about 6 or 7 minutes till we get into phase 2.
Well, he's good. You never know before. You never know. There might be public coming in.
Yeah, you got it.
Run.
Does that need a resolution?
Yeah, 83. Okay, thank you, William. Cheers, Bill.
No, that's okay. I usually bring my own, but I
Yeah, it
was.
seems like I got in trouble for doing that a number of years ago. I started a public hearing like 10 minutes before it was supposed to. It was not a good.
We'd probably get away with this one.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a lot of public outcry, but there's some others that would be, yeah.
And you never know. We're surprised sometimes. It depends. We'll think nobody will come in and there'll be a ton of people. So you never know. I think when we did this 2 years ago, I think it had some public comments.
No.
I don't know if anybody came to the
No.
meetings,
It's not.
but I think if I remember somebody from the subdivision to the south had some questions.
Concerns about the riffraff moving in.
Mark, how you doing? Good.
Trying to stay healthy.
I'm in our working.
Yeah, I hear you.
I have a concern about noise.
Yeah.
You know, and working on.
You can read the
Weekends
email and
or
see
end
the
of the
question that I sent him. I think I sent him the right question, but
I called again this year just to make sure it was the same. Yeah. Very nice.
uh,
Elaine, this is actually one of your better batches.
how do you know? You can't compare from year to year. They're all good. Just kidding. Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Yeah. I bet they're all good.
The one problem I have is sometimes when it hits the 300-degree mark, I don't know, sometimes it browns quicker than other times. So sometimes every once in a while I'll get a darker batch. It still tastes okay, but it browned up a lot faster. Because the thing is when you put the baking soda in it, then it rises and then it turns to a lighter color. You have to keep stirring till it gets to about the color you want it before you pour it in the pan. And my kids bought me new cookie sheets and I hate them. They're too heavy.
How you really feel about it?
I know, well, they're too heavy and so the peanut brittle doesn't want to slide out. It wants to stay. That's why it is thicker than it, a little
So that's what
thicker.
made it better.
Maybe that's what made it better.
Maybe.
My brother-in-law would like me to add 4 cups of peanuts to each batch, so there's never a spot missing a peanut, but so I keep telling these people, hey, don't be telling me how to do this. I've done it for years. Back in the day though, my mother used to, in the cast iron skillet, brown the sugar.
Oh.
She never used Karo syrup.
Oh,
See,
really?
I used the Karo syrup and bring it to the soft crack and then to the hard crack stage. My mother always browned the sugar in in the cast iron skillet, and then the butter, and then we put in the raw peanuts. And how she ever, my mother could make unbelievable. I actually like to make it. Because my brothers.
Colleen?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be on a sugar high for it.
Throw some coffee on top of this, really gets things going.
Close enough. All right, next on the agenda, this is Park County Planning Zone Planner 2, Kim Dillman, public hearing, Woodsmith Special Use Permit. Kim?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this application is actually for use, and the planning area, Sage Creek, the zoning district is residential 1/2 acre. We did receive the special use application from Mr. Taylor, who's the applicant, in October of this year, including plan view drawings, a map, and impact, if any, on adjacent properties. What Mr. Taylor is requesting, and this is a special use permit, and it does have a site plan review. It will be a log processing yard. It will be constructing handcrafted log home buildings, or the logs for those buildings. The operation will include skid steer loaders, boom trucks, chainsaws, and a band sawmill. It will be operated by a 3-person crew on average. The hours will be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And Mr. Taylor anticipates that the log yard will receive approximately 10 semi-truck trailer loads of logs per year, and approximately 5 semi-truck trailer loads of raw logs will be stored on the property, and associated building material equipment and other things. Mr. Taylor will have an office trailer, a tool trailer, and a chemical toilet, a latrine. The applicant will process logs at the site, and then the logs will be assembled into log homes at residential sites. So those will happen off-site. And the applicant anticipates approximately 60% of his crew's work time will be spent at this location. So we have classified this use as major industrial use. The reason for the variance that we just approved was because this use is not located in this zoning district. And again, Mr. Taylor received a variance and an SUP approval 2 years ago, but was able to begin his facility at that time. I mentioned earlier, the ownership of this property is Beacon Hill Land Company. The representative has approved of this use going forward. Again, this legal description is the site will be approximately 5 acres in a 322-acre parcel. The location, again, is the same location for the variance request. It is within a mile of the city of Cody. City of Cody did respond, and you all had a chance to see that. Figure 2 shows the location map relative to Cody. Figure 3 shows the location of the property relative to neighboring land uses. And in red, it shows where that proposed log yard will be located. In terms of neighboring land uses, again, it's the same as the variance. There is some industrial uses in the area. There is some residential, not close, but in the general area. But again, this use should be behind hills. And so residents should not be able to see this facility being operated. Again, this is on an undeveloped parcel of land owned by Beacon Hill Land Company. There are several oil and gas wells on the property. Property is hilly. Legal notices for this SUP, we did send a notice out to Cody Enterprise that was published on November 26th and December 8th. Written notice was mailed to property owners on November 23rd, and the staff report was sent to the applicant and to the commissioners before today's hearing. Again, Public Works responded. Most of their comments are from 2 years ago. A lot of those comments refer to drainage, and Public Works did approve a stormwater pollution prevention plan. And again, in November of this year, Public Works stated they have no further concerns or comments since their March of 2018 review. Public weed and pest, again, they've extended their weed plan. The fire district responded, they can provide service. Rocky Mountain Power can provide electricity. Property taxes are paid. Game and Fish had no concerns. City of Cody, I mentioned their one concern. Yellowstone Regional Airport, I believe I can say that they really have no concerns. They did review this. Conservation District did send a soils report summary. There is no water rights on this property, although it is in the Cody Canal Irrigation District. We've not received any public comments. Planning and Zoning reviewed this special use permit and site plan review in November this year. They recommended approval. In terms of compatibility and impacts, in the middle of page 9, we have a statement from the applicant how compatibility will be achieved. He essentially thinks it will be, in part because all the neighboring uses, especially residential uses, are some distance away, and he will be hidden mostly by hills. Also, the topography will mitigate noise pollution. This use is not within 20 miles of the county road right away. No covenants are proposed or existing. There will be no outdoor lighting. This property has no non-conformities. No nuisances will be reported. In terms of services and infrastructure, in terms of access, I will mention that again, access exists from County Road 2 DAW, which is a county road. We do have a road license agreement through the Valcaro Bighorn property. This use will not require any domestic water. Parking, there will be some parking required, so that standard applies, and we think parking is adequate, Mr. Chairman. This applicant proposes a portable toilet on site. We have no concerns with that. No signs are proposed. Solid waste, if any, will be stored in closed roll-off bins, and so our standard applies, and we feel that will be met. Proposed use is in an airport overlay district. I did mention that already. In terms of site plan review, hazardous substances, we mentioned in our staff report, this is on page 12, that there are some buried pipelines and overhead power lines on this property. We feel like they won't be impacted by this use. Water quality, this use will not impact any lakes, reservoirs, or streams. It will not impact any wetlands. In terms of a runoff and erosion control plan, as I mentioned, Public Works has approved a stormwater pollution prevention plan, and they have looked at drainage and soil erosion. This use is not expected to impact any air quality. I'll skip down to the bottom of page 14. In terms of special site plan standards, I have here the proposed use is in the Sage Creek planning area, and I have special site plan review is not required. However, that's incorrect. Special site plan standards do apply because it is in Sage Creek. However, we feel that there will be no streams or rivers affected. This is not close to or on a extremely steep slope. And to our knowledge, there'll be no big game habitat that's impacted. So we have no concerns for that. We do have staff comments for consideration. We have staff findings. We have some possible conditions. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, staff?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, now, I have no problem with it, but it says that you're going to be using the portable toilet, correct? So if we approve the SUP as said, does the applicants then require, because of our new wastewater things, require them to that additional permit for that, for year-round use?
Well, that was a question I was going to ask him, but it's my understanding when we approved small wastewater, that the small wastewater administrator has the ability to basically grant a waiver, which they obviously have.
Well, I understand that, but in here, we're already approving it as part of the SUP. So therefore, I don't feel that it would be required. I'm just asking that for clarification.
Well, I guess with other things, I mean, think about subdivisions, right? All of you approve final plats for subdivisions, and then if people build homes, they still have to come back and get a small wastewater permit from us. So in a way, I think it's like that. But I don't know, I can't think of all the exemptions for those portable toilets. This may fall into that. But if not, I have no problem giving approval for chemical toilet at the site. Does that answer your question?
Yes and no. I mean, in my opinion, the SUP should pretty much already give him the permission to have it, period. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, but what if he needed an engineer, what if he was putting a septic in and stuff? That would show a spot for the septic. I mean, I was leaning your way until I'm thinking out loud, because if he needed a septic system, just because he has an SUP and we know where the septic is going, he would still have to jump through the hoops for the septic system, right?
Yeah, there's regulations on septic systems.
Right.
Yeah, as far as DEQ. There are none for chemical toilets.
Yeah.
That being back to where we were last week.
I
I mean, we're approving a chemical toilet on a year-round extended use. This, you could say, well, this qualifies as a construction. Yes, but it's an ongoing construction, not something that is limited for a house building. Once that, the subdivision, when the house is being built, once it's over, this is never over. This SUP is maturity.
Right.
Well, I just wanted some clarification here.
I got no problem approving the SUP based upon
No, I'm not gonna go one way or the other.
but I understand what your question.
Well, I mean, I agree with Tim. I don't remember all the exceptions when we passed on the small wastewater new rules and regs, but this is probably one. And of course, the small wastewater administrator has the ability to waive in.
And Mr. Chairman, I have no problem approving this. I think a chemical toilet in this case would be absolutely appropriate.
Going to be appropriate, essentially. Sure. So, does that answer your question, Lloyd? Probably not.
Just another obstacle for the person to jump through. To me, it should be, I just wanted to confirm that this would already answer that question. It's already been approved by us in the SUP.
But I mean, it's really, when you stop and think about it, two separate issues. The SUP said he's going to set up a log business out there. And then, yes, he will have to come back when he gets up and running, gets ready to move his chemical toilet in there and get permission for the chemical toilet from small wastewater. Shouldn't be too hard, wouldn't that? So, any other questions, Steph? Okay, public comments. Don, you got something?
Actually, I just had a message from Joy. It just says that you can address portable toilets as a condition of the SUP. So if I understand what she's saying here, it can be approved as part of the SUP and then it just moves on.
Okay, that's fine.
And they don't need to go any further.
That would be how this
That's how
is
she
worded.
discussed it earlier.
Yeah.
I recall now.
Well, that answers my question.
All right,
Thank you, Joy.
do we have any public comment? Once, twice, three times. Okay, Lee. Lloyd.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close public comment.
All right, Lee, one second.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, what's the pleasure?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, should there be a condition
I
approving
was waiting for Lloyd.
Okay.
You wanna,
Do we need to
And
put that in
As
as?
I understood, it's already as a condition. We don't need to modify anything.
Is it in there as a condition?
No, not,
Okay, I would move to approve the SUP with the condition that a portable chemical toilet be authorized for year-round use.
Lloyd, you second?
I will second.
Okay.
Modify or amend my second.
Discussion. All those in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Great, appreciate it.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim, appreciate it.
Thanks again.
You bet, Chris. You're welcome, Marshall. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Stay well.
Stay outside. Dr. Todd.
Okay. 4 minutes ahead of schedule. Well, anyway, we'll go ahead and get
Running
going.
a tight ship there,
Yeah,
Mr.
you're
Chairman.
right.
I think you ought to just continue for another
No,
year.
no, no, no. This is the last one. I got one more meeting tomorrow. Park County Historic Preservation Board Chair, but Larry's gonna do it instead. Morning, Larry. Can you hear?
Morning. I think Dakota's out in the waiting room waiting to come in, so
You're in.
he's there.
You're in. Oh, it's.
I'm in, but Dakota, the chair's there in person, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And Dakota, oh, where's Susan? Because I don't want to start messing with that, but Dakota needs to be allowed in.
Susan just went that way. Was Dakota gonna be here?
Well, good morning.
Well, he's probably in a waiting room, but I'm not seeing where my, yeah, we need, I don't want to tear things up. I think we got a guy in the waiting room, but I can't see the screen from different. I don't see any, we're looking for Dakota, but I don't see anyone in the waiting room.
Nope, not here.
Oh, Dakota's coming in first.
There he is. There he
He was
is.
waiting outside,
He is in the waiting room.
not in the virtual waiting room.
Okay, Dakota, pull up the chair.
Sure.
Okay, and this is approving last chair to sign Park County Historic Preservation Commission annual report. Good morning, take off.
Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Good.
Good.
You can take the mask off.
Okay, sure.
So
I'm hard of hearing it, difficult.
No problem at all. Yeah, so we just have our annual report to the State Historic Preservation Office. I had sent to Susan for you guys to review. It's been a slow year like everybody else, but we have made some good progress. We're continuing to work on the White Cabin project out on Needle Creek. That's one that's on Forest Service land, has a really interesting history. Forest Service was basically going to let it go, but we went out in 2019 and made a survey of the site and looked at the cabins there and got written up in Cody Enterprise. And since that time, I understand they've got a few calls from the public that are looking to kind of turn things around on it. So we're excited about the possibilities with that. And, Brian's continued to research that. And we've actually got in touch with some of the descendants and are finding some artifacts and more records from that property that'll help us with that. And then the other project we worked on in a big way this year is a project that we're doing in coordination with Hard Mountain, so we're in two hats for that. But we are making an effort to actually go around and document all of the surviving barracks and other camp buildings from Hard Mountain that are still there in the Bighorn Basin.
Big project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's awesome though.
it's something that UW had started back in 2012, I think. The American Studies program started and it kind of just fizzled out after a little while. And so we're looking to jump back in. We're hoping not under this grant, but we're hoping to pick up another grant after we get the basic work done to start getting some plaques out there and the like, so that people can put them up on billboards.
Well, what's interesting is once you kind of get an eye for those, you can see them. One of the homes I lived in as a kid on Hart Mountain was built from two barracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you've seen them, you can pick those homes out across the basin.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like the irrigation district sent out like the basically plans that they draw up, to where, you could assemble them in an L or you could assemble them in a T, because they were basically handing them out. They were selling them for $1, but basically handing them out to be used as improvements on homestead claims.
I was just gonna say, we've turned our stuff into them, both my house and the barn, our barn or barracks. which have been super interesting with some remodels, what you can find in the walls at times.
Yeah.
Remodels, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. And so we're hoping, we kind of accumulated our list and did one workshop. Larry joined me for that. And one of our former incarcerees, Prentice Achita, talked about it down in Camp. And then Eric Sandine from University of Wyoming. We did like an online workshop. Then we're hoping to do another 1 to 3 volunteers in the spring. But I'm hoping that over the course of the summer, we can have in a big way volunteers go out and sort of document some of these buildings. And, we're going to put up a map on the website and everything. It'll be fun when it gets done. But those are the 2 big projects that we're working on. Larry, anything to add?
Well, I just would like to add and highlight that you got a grant from the State Historic Preservation Office for a little over $10,000 for the barracks project. So did bring in the funds to do that and get that done. So congratulations on that, Dakota.
Yeah, that's exciting. And so we've got that going right now. Those are the big projects. Another thing, I guess, is that you guys should be aware of, just looking ahead, is that there actually is some State Historic Preservation Office money right now for actual rehabilitation uses for commercial and mixed use properties. And that's coming up in March. Anything I'm neglecting to say on that one, Larry?
No, other than the State Historic Preservation Office just got this $350,000 grant for bricks and mortar type projects. And that's if there's a building that has historic potential or potential to be listed on the National Register, we can work with the owners to get funding to help doing rehabilitation and work on it that could help maintain its historic integrity. The one sort of caveat to that funding is that if you get the federal money, you have to agree not to damage the historic property for, say, 5 to 10 years. There's a sliding scale of, depending upon how much money you get, how long you have to put the non-altering the historic context covenant on the property. But it is a good way if somebody has it, and we'll start trying to reach out to the community, people in the communities that have historic buildings, to see if they're interested in getting funding to help doing some nuts and bolts rehabilitation.
Jake's doing the least person in you.
And you might have touched on it earlier, Dakota or Larry. Is this commercial only, or would the Mickey White cabin fall under that?
Got to be commercial or mixed use for this one. Yeah.
The Forest Service is commercial.
Maybe we can get some money and replace the steps on the front of the courthouse. I mean, we're a historical building.
And I will say that as I understand, it's open to local government, private, and nonprofit organizations. If I'm wrong there, correct me, Larry. But that's the way that I read the grant language right there. And so I think that could be a distinct possibility.
Give us some money.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
we also talked at the museum board meeting about the Powell Museum.
Yeah.
Homestead.
Yes. I think that we're going to try and get the homesteader. They're not on the register right now, but we think that they are register eligible, and they've sort of done some research toward that end earlier. So I think that we're possibly going to put in for some of the exterior work that you guys remember needs to be done on that building. But, I would say that I think there's a strong likelihood that if there's a project for the courthouse too, that we put something together on that. I think they're due March 1st. So if there's interest, just have people get in touch with us, and we'll help them prep the application and do everything that they need to sort of prove they're register eligible and ready to go.
Any other questions? I just got one quick comment. Sure. I just want to congratulate you two gentlemen in particular and your board together. When I first became a commissioner, where the Park County Preservation Commission was to where it is today under Larry's leadership and now yours, Dakota, it's just different. It's night and day. And I just want to commend you for that.
Good. Well, thanks so much. And I think that one of the things that Larry and I talked a lot about is that I think there is I think there's the ability for some of the CLG stuff, some of this other grants to come up, you know. If you got a historic property that's, that people are interested in saving, you know, we're definitely here to be a resource for you, you know.
Okay, great, appreciate it. Larry, you got anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. Thank you for all your support from the commissioners over the years.
Thank you. All right. Any motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Approve or just accept the report?
Yeah, we need to
I need to.
approve and allow the chair to sign the reports.
Don't move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Vote carried. Thank you very much. We're on break until 10:15.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Go appreciate it. Have a good day.
10:15 break. What?
Voucher situation?
The Zoom speakers. Got the Zoom speakers working a little.
Yeah, they are. That's it, you got one?
Yes.
How are we looking on the agenda for the 5th? January 5th?
Good. We don't have anything in there but one or two public hearings.
What time is the public hearing?
Not till,
Yeah,
I put them at 10:15 because
okay.
I'm just swearing in and that's it.
Okay, we won't start until 9 o'clock.
Right.
So you got that word about the swearing in?
I was the one that set it up, yeah.
Oh, you said it. Well, they called me and said, what I want to do about it. And I said, well, we just won't start till 9.
Yeah, well, no, I'm the one that said it was swearing in with the Jensen, so I changed it.
You don't need me at all. You're way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Teresa and I worked that out yesterday, so I want to get it taken care
So they're gonna do their Zoom or?
On Zoom. So if you guys all want to just come here, we'll just set it
Yeah,
up
we'll
there
just set it up there.
on Teams, or on Teams, not Zoom. And then we'll go into Zoom for the staff meeting.
Okay.
And then, I'll get with Joy and make sure, the one is just a flat, so we can move that, it's not a floating. So we should go.
Well, okay, we got all the stuff. That's the slip.
We did, they received their package.
Well, they did.
Did the tracking, got there.
I mean, somewhere when I was reading all that stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned, well, Brian, you already called me yesterday, so I just saw that.
Okay.
So we got all taken care of.
And then stuff we went about yesterday.
Yeah, they got this morning at 10.
On both sides.
Yes.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
I just got it all together.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right, great.
I wasn't taking a chance. The guy, yes,
No, I agree.
Send the $40 fine, we'll just take it, grab it, it'll be there, so.
Thank you.
Good.
You're way ahead of it.
So we left out 61,000, just that second grant, of 3,000.
Mhm.
So he only wanted to do, he left out 30,000. Was good, just the water. So Jack kind of ordered a little bit more PP, but and I went and looked at the invoice for it, so see if they pay it or not. Over what he had asked for.
All right.
I figured that was 1,000.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we'll see what they come out.
Well, you make us all look good. Thank you.
I don't know, I was sweating that was scary
no.
stuff. To me. I'm just like, I hope I do this right, it's gone, I don't care at this point, and it's on your desk at 10 today.
Well, give yourself a pat on the back.
I was surprised that.
So was I.
Yeah.
I have to
You know,
say,
he's
it's
gonna
been
try to go
really
back
good
for
work.
lower.
Neil, how you doing?
Good, there you go.
I thought that was his best chance, discussing until midnight and maybe,
Yeah, well, what he requested was to still have places open till like 2 a.m., right?
only on New Year's Eve.
Only New Year's.
The other was midnight, instead of 10, make it midnight.
Gotcha, yeah. Because I think if that was approved, I think there wouldn't be too much grumbling in the community about that, but
Well, I wouldn't be as much.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some.
probably still a little, yeah.
New Year's Eve's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little weird. It'll be different, that's for sure.
But hopefully we're 6 months downside.
That's the goal, yeah.
So. Never know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's gonna dramatically change in the calendar. It's gotta be better than 2020 though.
Oh,
Be careful here.
yeah, be careful what you say.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe
How are you? How you doing?
Good.
And another pink ribbon. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're here in the week today.
Oh.
20 weeks. Roy threatened to keep it, so we set it over here. Nothing.
How can I find or get on map server?
Go to the Park County website,
Well,
our page,
huh?
go to the Park County page.
Can I go to here and put in Park County? I put in Park County map server. Then I got a choice of online services.
Well, what I always do is I just go to our home Park County homepage, go to the assessor, go to departments.
Online services, map server.
Mm-hmm.
And I click on it. I want to look at the map.
Yeah.
It won't let me.
Oh, then you talk to IT. Because that's how I always go.
Does it work on your
I'll look at it
county
now.
computer or is it just mine server?
No, that's how I always go to it. Like, so I'll look and see. Talk to,
You're IT guy, right?
yeah. So Jake, are you sticking around here through tomorrow?
Look at.
I'll be here probably till Friday or Saturday
When
morning.
you get all through that, it just tells me this.
Yeah,
So
try
we're gonna do
chase some birds and
close that.
before I head back up.
We have a meeting tomorrow, you're a commissioner.
That's
Explorer.
I haven't slept with anticipation for that RFP. Doesn't know what I want, but
This is
Microsoft's
new web browser.
So remind me again where you're at in Montana. I was kind of picking up pieces of park.
Kalispell.
Oh, you're right.
Flathead Valley.
No, I know exactly where it is. I used to travel through there all the time.
Okay, yeah, my older daughter lives in Bigfort, my two grandkids.
I know you're the big four.
We're in the lower valley, they call it, which is it's Kalispell address, but it's closer to Bigfort.
Yep.
There's a ton of trees, ton of moisture up there, tall trees everywhere. I was feeling kind of hemmed in on these houses we were looking at. And plus, there's a lot more cloud cover up there than down here. I mean, there's like 75 fewer sunny days. So I said, I got to have some space. So there was a farmer subdivided his place into 2-acre parcels, and these guys built out there. So it's wide. It's really cool. There's these Columbia Mountains, you know, so way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the night drive to the door is
Okay.
broken. So it's not supporting it. So
Thank you.
you're pretty close to Kenny Gash.
Yeah, he's up at the White. He's about, so this is out the back. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know, there's so many trees everywhere. I said, I gotta have room to breathe, man.
Well, Jake, is it cold up in Montana?
Oh, sure. You know what it is? It's the humidity off of that lake, that lake effect.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, the average humidity in the wintertime is like 75%. Ooh. That's cool. I can't, these 30 degrees and we're running around outside. Wait a minute, this isn't like 30 degrees in Cody. I mean, but the wind doesn't blow. It's great. It's good. 1 mile an hour winds. How do you know if it's blowing 1 mile an hour? They don't know what wind is. How do they even measure that?
Well, you got, is that lake big enough to cause like a lake effect?
It is. It is. Yeah. Bigger than Tahoe. I mean, it's a big lake.
Well, I've seen it, never been on it.
It's crazy because it's 3,000 feet, the elevation, but it's 90 miles to Canada.
Yeah.
So it's way north, and then it's got that lake effect. So it's just it's different. High humidity, ton of tall trees, a lot of the pine trees, a lot of the wooded area. It's about 30 minutes to Glacier.
Maybe you'll get to meet my ex. He owns property on the end of the tip, at the tip of the lake.
On the lake? Really? Yeah, there's some
Let me
pricey.
know if you need me to introduce.
There's some definitely some pricey stuff.
Hi, boss. But I always laugh because in the summer, they have pears, he has the flathead cherries,
The
he
cherries,
has
yeah.
apples, he has plums, they grow oranges. They sell it all to the markets. It is
Now, wait a minute,
unbelievable.
I was in the city, but there's no way you can grow an orange outside of Montana.
You can on the flathead area.
You can't, those flathead cherries, have you heard of
Well, a cherry, but not an orange.
Yeah, no, they do oranges, they do plums, they do pears.
Well, I mean, the temperature drops below 32, an orange freezes. It kills the tree at 25,
Don't ask me how they do it, but he grows them.
unless they're growing them inside.
I don't think he does.
Huh, but it won't kill a cherry tree, huh?
No.
Cherry trees are tougher, because it's.
But see, I think
Winters are
that-
very real up there.
No, I mean, I was a kid growing in Florida, our family was in the citrus, but we had a couple thousand acres of orange grove, berry fruits in the whole 9 yards in the wintertime when you fired the groves. As before with all of the environmental protection and stuff, but you got 30,000 diesel fire pots, all are burning. That is the nastiest job I've ever done in my life. I mean, there's not a breath of air and that black, thick diesel smoke just hangs in there. That's probably why I can't breathe today.
What's the name of that lake again?
Flathead.
Or the other one?
Sealy.
Sealy, the other big one. There's
Come on in.
Hungry Horse Reservoir.
Just sit up there.
Oh, I'm thinking of the town, Polson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You stay 6 feet away from the lake.
Yeah.
Ready, sign someone? Just waiting on the clock.
Hear you.
How are things going?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Still liking it? Still liking it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know what else I would do.
It's a good crew.
It is. We have a nice crew. Yeah. Doing well.
I think 4 of them were there when I was there.
Yeah. It's a little turnover in sales, which bothers me a little bit, but it takes a minute to, I lost a couple of them, one to school and one to move to Alaska, so it's hard to replace them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the sales department's the hardest thing for us to do. We have multiples. I used to steady Eddie. I like it to be ships down even keel.
What'd you have to do?
Is
He had to
this year been?
install,
No,
Unfortunately.
were you able to get it?
it was giving me the same thing,
Some people that.
but I saw you.
He said the old Internet Explorer doesn't work.
Well, like it.
October, November, December, the last quarter is slowing down to be more like normal. But I see us landing probably in between the middle of normal and the highs versus summer. So, yeah, we'll take that. Take anything we get today.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
How's Rob been? He's on my radar all the day.
So he's fine. It's ski season. He'll be wonderful. As long as he can find snow a couple times a week.
There you go. He seems to find it all
Yes,
the way
he
through
does.
about May or April, doesn't he?
He does. And 40 some days last year.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So,
It sounds like Sleeping Giant. I see them doing their thing. It's Piazza's really.
yes, he's doing a great job. And Leah was just saying that the marketing's working because it was really busy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's it looks. I love the marketing.
Good.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Next on the agenda is Northwest Rural Water District Manager, and it's approve and allow chair to sign order of the Park County Board of County Commission petition for enlargement of Northwest Rural Water District without election. Tony?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or would you prefer I stand?
Can I get you guys to switch? Yes, thank you.
Oh, for the camera.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, before you is a draft order for your review, approving the enlargement and inclusion of Northwest Rural Water District. There are 7 individual petitions that were included in this packet that make up this draft order. We have 7 different families and landowners throughout the county that have requested to enlarge our district boundaries to be a part of the district. So each one of these petitions includes the necessary signatures from the landowners and registered voters within each one of those lots. The real properties described in each one of these petitions. Our board has reviewed these and approved them. Each one of them is signed by our chairman. The county clerk has reviewed these for signatures, and we are not requesting that the number of board members of our district be enlarged with this. And we feel we've met all the requirements to do this without an election. So I can discuss each one of these individually if you'd like. I can answer any questions on any of them.
I don't think we need to do them on an individual basis.
Okay.
You know, certainly answer any questions. Nothing?
Just one, in looking through some of the legal descriptions, I know it's Swiss cheese. So some of these are interior of the existing boundaries. Are any of them exterior of the existing boundary where the boundary is going to be rewritten?
So there are actually 2
Okay.
that are petitions for enlargement that are
Okay.
outside of the existing boundaries. Yes.
Okay.
5 of them are lots that were
Interior.
interior.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, okay, it's not a public hearing, but Brett's here. Brett, you got any comments?
No, I just hope that we can expand that. We purchased some property where from the Greens, there's 120 acres out on the Diamond Basin Road at the far northeast, or southeast corner of where it corners at 90 degrees. We bought it with the understanding that we get Northwest Rural Water. The Greens, which is a section of 40 above us, have it. Come to find out after visiting with Tony often, and he's been wonderful to work with, is we are not in the district. So we've worked diligently, and so has Northwest Rural Water, to try to get us into that. The water line goes right through our property, so we're able to put that into the district.
Good. Any other questions, Tony? What's your pleasure?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman, allow the chair to sign.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Brett. Can I have your excuse?
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
So Doss, I have a question for you then. How would that happen if it goes through his land that he's not?
If you were 20 acres or more, you were automatically excluded. If you were 20 acres or less, you were automatically included unless you petitioned out. So it depended on the size of the parcel when the district was formed.
Oh, perfect, okay, thanks. I was just curious.
But maybe it was in-app management at the time.
Oh, stop. Some of that might have happened, but yeah.
We got 5 minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Actually got 10.
Do we have anything in SharePoint on the viewers report?
No, we don't have anything yet. I presume they'll bring it in.
He sent us an email, but that was it. Just,
No,
when did that email?
no mapping on that email.
No. Oh, yeah, I could do that right now, I guess. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we had a employee committee meeting yesterday. And we're gaining. It went really well. Probably had, what, 10 of us there, maybe? Somewhere in there. Anyway, that's moving forward pretty well. But the question that came up, you might have seen a little bit on national news, which may have prompted some of this, but the staff would like me to ask about Christmas Eve. If the commissioners would be willing to take a look at how things have gone in the county this year and take a look at giving them the other half of the day off on Thursday on Christmas Eve. We are scheduled to be open
Give them
until noon.
all day Christmas Eve off.
Yes,
Okay.
we are scheduled to be open until noon on Thursday. They're asking for Thursday morning.
Well, I tell you, when Jake gets back, we'll stuff that in the agenda real quick, because that would have to be an action item.
That's fine. Just told them I'd bring it up.
Okay. I was asked to bring it up, but I wasn't going to.
Well, I'm either braver or dumber than you are. I don't know which, but.
No, I wasn't thinking. I totally said it. Yeah. Come on in.
I'm not sure who dropped.
This is correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
By reason garbage.
I've got an orange one you can replace that with.
Oh, great.
Hey. I just lived down there too long. It's kind of ingrained.
Just go around.
Sure.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you guys? Living the dream, as always.
Don't forget Jake's here.
Oh.
Got him.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Almost what we did. You're welcome.
Any more times are we gonna have to look at it?
We
This is gonna get time to really make it really good. That Trapper's done the most. Maybe before we do the overall with something that has everything on it.
We might not recognize it if it isn't this one.
That's true. That's just the best one.
It is. It is. It's been around forever. No, very good. Good, good.
I kind of bit my lip yesterday.
Yeah, I know you did. I was watching, but you did good.
I had to sleep on that one.
That was a good email, though, Trapper.
Thank you.
You did a very nice job on that.
Very professional.
You started this one.
And I agree, you know, to a point that, you know, on the other side of that, you know, the public expects what they expect of us, and
Still gonna have the
employees are not, and, but, you know, you gotta have stuff to do that with. Yeah, you know.
Good. It was needed to be said.
Well, the rest of the whole queue. I don't know. Okay. I had no chairman on this.
I thought it was told below those sold, check.
At least as far as what's
It's,
Recorded.
yeah, well, it's what's recorded on still on the maps.
and then that thing just recently, because sometimes I forget to update it, so it's possible that it's sold.
Is he still in town or did he?
I don't know. It's such a specialty. I don't want
That's
to
what
use
I
it
was
unless I have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's expensive. I mean, it's good.
So Trapper's Nutcracker done now?
It's done. Yeah, we survived another one.
How many have you gone to?
A lot. We've been doing it for what? 3, 4 years now. It's at least 3 performances a year. So yeah, it's a lot of running for a couple of weeks.
I'm over the day.
Oh yeah. Just fun. They work their butts off. I mean, it's cool to see. But by the end of it, I'm over it too. So.
And they smile while they're doing it. They must really enjoy it. Then there's some cute pictures of them.
Yeah, they do good.
Yep.
They didn't get my bill. That's what saved them. You know, they're tall and lanky, so.
All right, well, Jake will be back, so we'll go ahead and get started. Before Brian takes off, I'd like to put in another agenda item. We have a request about Christmas Eve, and we'll put this on right after Brian gets done with the viewer report. Employee request for Christmas Eve. So anyway, that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. This presentation, the viewers report, consider vacation of public road easements along Castle Rock Road, an update on proposed vacation on 60 a.m. portions of Road 54 and 54B. So Brian, take off.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, the issues involving the Castle Rock Road area, Road 60, Road 54, 54B, connecting 6NS over to the South Fork Road, County Road 6WX. It's been an ongoing thing for several years. Today, the focus of this viewer's report is to look at the easements, the public road easements that run along Castle Rock Road, essentially trying to look at all the easements that extend from the state land tract, that's that tract 53, over the area of Road 60N, extending all the way to County Road 6NS. And on the aerial photo, you can kind of see the focus area. And I guess to get started, there's some things that I just need to say as a matter of record that so we can get it in the record. This viewer's report today is intended to satisfy requirements outlined in Wyoming State Statute 24-3106, which pertains to creation, vacation, or alteration of county roads. And the purpose of this report is to address the proposed vacation of the easements along and in the vicinity of Castle Rock Road, as I described. As you recall, the Board of County Commissioners met on September 8th as part of the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. During that meeting, the Board of County Commissioners discussed the public road easements along Castle Rock Road between State Land Tract 53 and County Road 6NS. After some discussion, the Board of County Commissioners elected to initiate proceedings to vacate all the public road easements along this section of road. In accordance with Wyoming State Statute 24-3101A, the Board of County Commissioners deemed it to be in the public interest to initiate said proceedings. And therefore, resolution number 2020-59 was passed, authorizing staff to proceed with the vacation process. I was assigned as county engineer to be the viewer to take a look at this. It's really difficult to look at any one thing independently because all of the issues involving 60A, 54, 54B are all related. And as you know, the long history of those pending vacations, it's worth noting that the vacation process as it relates to 6AM, portions of road 54 to 54B are pending or in progress, issues we're working towards. And going through that process, it became clear to us there's some confusing things with road 60AM. The easements that were granted for that loop road actually lie along the existing road. So with vacating the public road easements for 60AM, it takes care of the roads or the easements that were dedicated to Park County by TD Ranch, and that was done back in the day, and somebody else, Mick McCarty, and then but those easements will get taken care of as associated with 60AM. The problem became on looking at the portion of public road between the state land and 6NS. There are portions of the public road easement that don't necessarily follow the exact alignment of Castle Rock Road. And so that's where it gets pretty confusing. So even though we would, the intent would be, or the suggestion was to vacate Road 54, those easements would still be in place if we didn't catch this up and take care of the easements that don't follow that same line. So that's the purpose of this process here. That we consult with the county attorney that cleans up everything and it takes care of the roads, the easements that don't follow to save a life. So the procedures for vacation alteration are in Chapter 3 of Title 24 of Wyoming State Statutes. They're included as part of the vacation report for reference. The Section 24.3.101B sets forth the establishment process for vacation or alteration. Because there's procedures for if the petition is submitted by a private entity, there's one set of statutes that apply, or if the Board of County Commissioners initiate the process, then Section 24.3.101A applies. Because the commissioners are initiating this as it relates to the public road easements, that we follow 24.3.101A. As accordance with 24.3.103, the viewer is supposed to be, best to kind of read it, suitable and disinterested. I feel like I fit those qualifications. I have a general working knowledge of the road and bridge system, and I have reviewed all the available information, historical records pertaining to the matter. I forming the judgment and opinions in the reviewer's report. Consideration was given to both public and private convenience, as well as the expense of the easements proposed for vacation. That's in accordance with State Statute 24.3.105. So to follow up, back in the late 80s, or prior to the late 80s, early 90s, Castle Rock Road as it exists on the ground today was a private road, and it existed for the benefit of and it still exists today as a private road, for the private benefit of the landowners out there. And there exist multiple private easements between landowners that establish private access and egress across neighboring properties. So late 80s, early 90s, easements were granted to Park County as Park County was interested in securing a public road to connect Road 6J to County Road 6NS. And in doing that, an alignment for what we call that loop road was established. Again, some of which follows Castle Rock Road, some of it doesn't. But easements were acquired from the landowners along that track. There were a couple of landowners that did not, or somewhere along the way back in the early 1990s, the easement that was granted by Webb, which you can see on it's now the property owned by Vernon Forget. You can see the Webb on that other photo. That one never was filed. In addition, this was a little trickier, but Wetters, it was Bennett Wetters, that one wasn't filed and recorded. Those at the direction of the Board of County Commissioners, because I think that was an oversight at the time that those were not recorded back in the day. In 2015, when this was first discussed as a vacation 6J, those easements, the Board of County Commissioners directed staff to go ahead and file those easements. So those have since been filed. In addition, there were several existing easements that were filed from several of the landowners along that route, Keyshawn, several other. There's most of that you can see on that. That's why that historic map's so good. At the time, Victor Riley owned quite a bit of that property, and that has since been split, into other tracts. But we have a public easement dedicated to Park County for Victor Riley, William Price, Diamond Bar area parties, that's related to 6J. But anyway, there are several easements that were granted. There was one that was not granted, that was the Tilden property that was, I say it was granted, it was never recorded, and the language that the attorney put in that easement was that wasn't to be recorded unless the county wasn't going to pursue a loop road, and so it never did get recorded. Anyway, the easements appear to be pretty clean in that they have, they are fairly recent. I guess my opinion is that, and I think based on this viewer's report, the commissioners have a few options. You can continue with the vacation of these public road easements along Castle Rock Road and catch up the process with where we're at on 6JF 54, 54B. So that's an option. You can treat this separately, deal with the easements, but regardless, it would be a decision to continue with the vacation process. If acting today, it would be more or less to accept the viewer's report and to continue the process. There would still be public notices that would have to be sent out to all the landowners, put in the papers. So definitely wouldn't be the end of it. There's utilities along that route that would have to be considered in reserving access for those easements. And then there would be in that public notice an opportunity for landowners to comment on whether or not they're damaged in any way, and whether there's access concerns. Like I know involving Deer Creek Road, the access through there's some things that have to be worked out there that would all come about in the public comment period. Let's see, another option the commissioners, like we talked about with 6JM and 54B, you can reinitiate the process for continuing the plan to develop the loop roads, because that's really the only benefit that those easements have would be to work towards a loop road if the commission deemed that would be in the best interest of the county. Let's see. And the other option would be the board of county commissioners could take no action on this matter and to just continue the vacation process. And then the board of county commissioners can also choose some variation of these alternatives.
Darcy, you got a question?
I do, just back on your first option of catching this up to 54 and 54B. Is there any financial benefit in doing that because the advertising and the maps that have to be published and printed, would we be better off on a single shot, or is that too confusing?
Well, I guess to catch up, all of the others have been through that notification process, public, we've got the standing, the people that have submitted claims for damages. We thought we would go ahead and re-notify the affected landowners once we start that back up, but not go through any additional expense that way. That's what I think Brian Score recommends we do.
Okay, so we would just have to publish.
We just publish the easement part for this, and then we would be all on the same page with all the tracks together.
Thank you.
But other than that, I think it's fairly straightforward.
Brian, I got a couple questions.
Sure.
Because, since this thing's been going on for 9 or 10 years now, and I know all of the private easements have been researched and re-researched.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure that if we do this and proceed, that we're not landlocking anybody. I still have a concern about the Orthodox property, but I think the county is protected. And so, the concerns there, because there's always been the question of Mr. Kuiper's house down here not having access valid easement to the Orthodox property. But I think with the agreement we have with Mr. Kuiper, that's going to be his problem in the future.
That's my understanding too. I think that's all going to get settled out in all of this. It is definitely confusing because, like you say, he has access to most, through Orchid, but that portion where his house is, and it's subjective, and that's different opinions from different attorneys, whether you could grant yourself an easement across your own property for that tract, keep on going if you wanted to, so that I think is what was in dispute, probably above my pay grade to even understand. Anyway, but I think my recommendation is this all ties together, and it's just simply a question is if this stays, then it ties to the bridge, it ties to everything. The bridge is a big issue with it's not getting any better. The state reports are not good on that. Worst rated bridge in the state. And so, yeah, I think it all ties together. And so I would recommend that at least you continue the process and keep moving this along with the rest of them. And we can go from there.
Okay. Further questions?
Mr. Chairman, not really a question, more of a statement. I agree with the continuation. I would like to see the Castle Rock Road vacation brought up to the same place we are with the rest of 60A and 54A and B. Meaning for the people parked up, to me, it's all or none. I don't want to vacate part of it if we're not going to do all of it. So when it comes down to the final vacation process, it's all, every bit of it.
Well, I mean, we talked about it one time about lumping vacation Castle Rock Road in with 6 JM and 54 and 54B, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. But I think the determination was that we could run them parallel to each other.
That's fine,
Okay.
as long as they happen at the same time.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I think the important thing is there were two separate petitions.
Right.
There was Hawks Hill and then the TE Ranch side of things. And then, so that I think is what's pending. Then this would be initiated by the Board of County Commissioners. So really, at least 3 actions that be going parallel. And then, but we did handle 54, at least 54B and 6JM. Anyway, they could probably be combined. It's very confusing. Probably need Brian's guidance on that, but I think his deal was keeping it separate by petition at least.
Separate but parallel. Separate but parallel. Separate but parallel. Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, so moving forward, basically, you just need a motion to native accept the viewer's report and continue the process.
Correct. And then from there, we will get the public notices out.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also wanted to give you an update of where we're at on the other pending proposed vacations, which involve 6JM, 54B, and portions of Road 54. As you know, I think with the work that was done on a portion of Castle Rock Road, 6MS, the agreement that we worked out there, the claims for damages related to the Hawks Hill, essentially, at least in my non-legal opinion, kind of gone away. There was the remaining issue of the Castle Rock Ditch Association and reserving and access easement for maintenance for them. I've prepared a draft of an easement and have sent that to TE Ranch and have received preliminary comments from their attorney. So I think working out that easement, which basically involves a portion of Road 6JM from their head gate, so they're at the bridge, up to the state land tract along the current line of the 6JM for maintenance access before, during, and after waters in the ditch. So it's that time, but the attorneys are looking at that now and hopefully we can come to an agreement. I would think by the time this catches up, that should time out right.
Okay, I got a quick question. With the vacation of JM, 54, 54B, that whole process, it was not stopped, it was suspended.
Correct.
So now we started that process back up again. Do we have to go back through advertising for a public hearing and all that kind of stuff? But
I need to confirm that with Brian again. The last I recall is that we did not need to do that. You can pick that back up. It was more of a courtesy to the landowners that are involved.
But we don't have to go through the public hearing.
No.
Okay.
And those that have standing, there were a lot of issues related to that state land tract and all that it needs to be transparent, open, and out there. But yeah, I think you contact the people that have made comments and then all the landowners affected.
Sure.
Okay, one question.
On that, 54A and 54B and 6CM is not time sensitive. It can just kind of continue until we get, is there a time limit?
There is no, in the state statute, there does not appear to be any set time limit other than, the minimum notification period that you have to wait for getting the public input comments, which we've done that. So we don't have to do that same thing here. But past that, there's no set.
We don't have to act on the final vacation of that portion until Castle Rock catches up to it.
Yeah, I will confirm with Brian that that's my understanding. And looking at the state statute, there are no deadlines that.
I got another question, just thinking out loud here. With the deal you're trying to put together with the Castle Rock ditch people, and we got that piece of state land that this road goes across. Do they have to get some type of easement from the state? I mean, it's state land, they can go across it.
You know, that's a really good question.
I'm sorry, I have to.
Yeah. Technically, I think they should and do have to get an easement across it because it's not like a one-time random use. This is ongoing over many years for a specific purpose. I know others have to have that.
We have to.
Yeah, we
Like
have
if
to.
if
We go
required,
over.
we have to have these.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though it is public land, you still have to have it.
Is that our problem or something we need to be concerned about, or is that their problem?
I think that's the problem with Castle Rock Ditch Association.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to work through.
So if we got to deal with TE to get an easement to them across TE property, then what happens with the state land? That's their problem.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, no.
We had a little bit of a follow-up discussion on that previously, Mr. Chairman, and it had to do with whether that easement can stay in effect if the land gets transferred out, which TE has agreed they're going to try to do.
Right.
Then it will belong to TE. So will they be required to keep that easement in place is my question. So I would assume that they would want to make sure they had an easement across that state land before it would get transferred out of the TE area over.
Well, I mean, that's a very good point, but to me, the easement that we're working on with TE, somehow that easement could be worded to include that state land in the future if it's rented.
Mr. Chairman, I would caution against that. I believe we'd be muddy in the waters.
Pretty dark already.
They are. But if the Castle Rock Ditch Association applies for and receives an easement through state land, that would be no different than them applying and receiving an easement through any other property.
Right.
And as long as the language in that easement that they receive from the state land says that it continues to stay with them, then they're protected.
Yeah.
I think if we try to tie anything in relation to the state land easement to this easement with the TE, it's just going to get, it's not going to work. I wouldn't want to touch it if I was.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I'm just trying to figure out somewhere we make, save them some money because the state land started charging for the easements a few years ago and it's become very expensive.
Mr. Chairman, I guess my understanding is, didn't they go ahead and get an easement across the state land? And maybe it was just Mr. Kuiper.
Kuiper did.
Kuiper did, but not the ditch.
Yeah, but not the actual ditch people.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be good to get that done.
But again, that's really their problem. That's not our problem.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well,
Keep it moving.
yeah, just keep it moving. I tell you, whenever you're ready to act on it, just let Susan know and get it on your agenda.
We will do that.
Well, it'll be the new chairman's discretion.
Okay.
Okay, Jake, while you were gone, we inserted another action item real quick, and we've had a request to consider closing the county down for all of Christmas Eve instead of just half a day. So, Dusty, you want to?
Here we go. An annual request.
Would you care to elaborate?
The only comments that came out yesterday out of the employee committee was, number one, the way the year's gone. And number two, well, there were a couple of things. They very, very, very seldom have much business on that day because it is so short and people are so busy doing other things. They do feel like it would be a morale situation for the employees for something that we weren't able to do much last year with raises or anything like that. So just kind of a little bit of a perk. One-time shot this year. Anyway.
Jake?
What's the budget? What's the effect on the budget? Because doesn't this affect the sheriffs? Then you got to pay them for the extra half a day, and that's double time.
And court, from what I understand from Brian
So there
yesterday.
It's more than just letting them go, and it doesn't cost us anything. I think it does cost us.
A little bit.
Do we know what that? I mean, it's a small number. Do we know what the number is?
No. It's a small number, but you're
Yeah,
right.
the only real problem I'd say would be the sheriff's department. Because it would be an official holiday, then they have to pay overtime.
And court time, because court's already scheduled. So
Okay.
Brian said they had 1 or 2 court hearings that they would probably maybe still have to do. But
Okay.
I agreed to bring it up.
Do you support it, or are you just the messenger?
She's a messenger.
Yeah, well, you're selling this thing pretty hard, Dawson.
Well, I agree with the concept. I understand the money. I also know that it's been a pretty tough year for them here. with everything that they've dealt with. And the fact that we couldn't do the raises that we wanted to do last year, I think there's a lot of pros in allowing a half day.
Mr. Chairman, I support it. There's going to be an additional cost with the sheriffs, but those guys working compensates them too. You know, we give our people the time off. There's no productivity. It doesn't affect the public. I would support it.
Well, I tell you personally, and I support it, I was approached some time ago and I forgot, to be honest with you. And I was kind of riding the fence at the time, maybe that's why I forgot. But, you know, looking at it, this has been an absolutely extraordinary year for everybody. And our people have gone through a lot and continue to go through a lot. So I guess I would support it.
I'll be the bad guy here. I don't support it. We have public out here that are out of work, and they would love to have an opportunity to work. So using their tax dollars to give people time off when they're out of work right before Christmas Eve, I'm sorry, I can't support this.
Lee, you got any comments? Or you're just going to keep us in suspense?
I'm going to keep you in suspense.
All right, Chairman. All right. Chair would have to take a motion.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we agree to allow staff to have the other half day on December 24th.
Okay, you have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, what's in the policy manual as we speak right now?
Half day.
Okay.
Half day on Christmas Eve, all day on Christmas.
If memory serves, we did this about 7 or 8 years ago.
We did it last year.
Mr. Chairman, so we usually do it on when Christmas Eve is on Monday, because we've shut the building down for the weekend, and then we open the building for a half day.
Half a day.
The building doesn't even get heated up, and we shut it down again for the half a day and the next day off. So in the past, that's probably what's usually happened, is when it falls on the Monday.
I do remember doing it once. So, any other discussion? Good.
Yeah, they're not going to wait 4 days and ask for New Year's Eve off, too, and the whole day.
They didn't bring that
This is a
up.
one-shot deal, right?
The county has never recognized New Year's Eve as a
Okay, let's move forward. Questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by aye.
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 You have 2 ayes. Opposed?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. In favor of the motion. All right. Brian, you're up. This would be review and consider staff recommendations for the purchase of 2020 newer 1-ton chassis only 4-wheel drive. Pick them up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you recall from earlier today, we did receive one bid from the bidding bid hold for the 2021 Silverado regular cab heavy duty 3500 cabin chassis. The bid price is $40,859. They offered a trade-in for an existing truck for $10,000. We think the price for the new truck is reasonable and fair for what we're seeing based on a little bit of research we looked at everywhere else. That looks to be a good price for it, especially with it being a diesel. At first glance, we thought the 10,000 was a little bit low. We have talked a little bit with Bert about that with what it is, because it is we're selling it without without bed, and then being able to turn around and flip it or resell and have to do something with it. With it being the length of the bed, I think was an issue too. I think it does have high miles. When I say high miles, 200,000 for diesel, pretty high. Fairly newer model truck, but our sign guy really put some miles on the truck. So anyway, I think we're of the opinion that our recommendation would be to go ahead and award this to Getting Good Home Chevrolet and exercise the trade-in option for $10,000. That's probably as good as we could do.
Lloyd, you had a question, Bert?
Mr. Chairman, I did. Bert, a few years ago, I priced out a 1-ton, similar to this, and things may have changed since then. But back then, the cabin chassis was actually detuned, and I was actually found that it was cheaper to buy one with a box, have the box removed, do my thing that I wanted on that 1-ton. And then at the top, then later, when I decided, I always had this place we have store the box, but then you can put the box back on. It increased the value of my trade-in. Is that still an option, and would you consider that?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, the way I built this is a cabin chassis to make sure that the bed is going to have the best possible ability to transfer, which, as you know, the frames are ladder type. So you look at a ladder on a cabin chassis, that's the way it looks, it'll run down. And when you do a box option off, your frame will start out as a ladder, but then it will taper to the cab. And then it usually does a dip. So there's a little bit more work that you have to do to your body to make that fit from a chassis to a pickup box option off. Now, also the way that I built this was I didn't take any corners. This truck will have 2 fuel tanks, exactly like your truck has. So it's going to have 2 fuel tanks. So its capacity of fuel is a lot larger than just 34 gallons in a regular pickup. So you'll be able to fill it up. It also diverts your fuel from the front to the back at all times, so that when you're hauling a load on a cabin chassis, it's more essential to make sure that your loads are equal, even in the fuel. Because we do tend to overload things in Wyoming.
So, Mr. Chairman, because of the ladder box that we have with this, it wouldn't be advantageous for us to do this.
I don't think so. I mean, when you start out with a cabin chassis, it's the best way to stay with it. And in the climate that we are right now, with the factories being way behind and just trying to get orders fulfilled, I mean, I'm one of the vendors that wants to go ahead and go after this. If something happens where they're built out, I'm looking for price protection from General Motors from a 2021 to 2022 at no cost. So I think you're better off to stay with your cabin chassis, stay solid that direction. And also there's an option in there that most people don't know about anymore is you could have a single speed transfer case. You're either in 4-wheel drive or you're not. On your side, but the dual transfer case, so you'll have 4 high, 4 low, 2 low. So I think we're good at where we're at to be solid.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
No, and Mr. Chairman, we did go through everything that they submitted, and it appears everything meets our minimum specifications. And so, yeah, I think it's the best option.
Commissioner Fulkerson, your last chance.
So moved. Make a motion, we accept the bid from Denny and Holt.
Second.
Discussion.
I just have one quick question, Mr. Chairman. So with this, do we still, will Ted, our new mechanic, transfer them? He will. So we don't have any additional costs? Really? I mean, maybe a few
There might be a
things, but
little
okay.
bit of things, some things that probably was a little different.
Yeah.
That's the way he's set up, but I think our new mechanic, they're used to swapping out bits.
Anything else? Motion second, all those in favor, please call by
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, have a great
Thank you, Bert. Thank you very much. Take care.
Merry Christmas. Let's look for a great next year.
Right.
Thanks, Bert. Appreciate it.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
No, we're not. We are adjourned.
We're not adjourned.
No,
Oh.
we're not adjourned. We have a presentation.
Oh, I didn't know that had to be done in public session, but I'll withdraw my motion. I said, get the hell out of here.
Next on the agenda, being county commissioner for the last 4 years, it's not been much fun. And I just want to thank Commissioner Fulton for stepping up to the plate and for all your years of service.
Get here.
Really nice to appreciate it.
This is the view off my deck at my house. So, yeah, same view. So I sure appreciate it. That's great.
Here. You gonna get a picture for the paper here? All right, there you go. Great. Jake,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
appreciate it.
You bet.
And there's a reception right after this upstairs.
Okay, now I move to adjourn.
Okay, we got a second.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor, please call by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. My last meeting.
Yay!
It hasn't been voted on yet.
Good.
Being a commissioner, especially the last 2 years, has not been much fun.